I think the most important thing for me, and the most important thing for a lot of people, was to abandon your dignity, because you will get embarrassed, but like in a fun way. Nobody's wearing deodorant. We're all sleeping in close quarters. We're all sweaty and miserable sometimes, but we're like commiserating, so it's fun. We're having fun. I really enjoyed the course. And I think that the only way that we were really able to get through everything without somebody snapping at another person was through laughing at ourselves. I think that was a really common thing that we did, and I think it really helped a lot. Like, not self-deprecating, but like making sure that when we did feel like we were a little lame or a little tired or a little sweaty, we were super upfront about it, and we were being very funny about it. I think we were trying to do everything with a sense of humor that I think we needed to make sure everybody was comfortable and nobody was getting competitive, and we were all in the same boat there, and we were all just like all in. On day 6-ish, we had just gotten to this really, really pretty lake. It looked like a CGI golf course in like a video game, and we were staying there for a day as like a relaxation day because we had just backpacked a lot, and I got lost. I left camp for a little while just to pee, just to have a fun time, and I saw some cool rocks, and I was like, whoa, those rocks are so cool, I want to run on top of them. So I ran on top of the rocks, and I went a little farther than I should have, and then I was coming back to camp, and I saw a trail, and I was like, the trail to camp. It was not the trail to camp. I ended up going to a meadow, and then I was like, this is not camp. So I go back up the trail, definitely also not camp. I ended up staying there for what I thought was about an hour, but was apparently about 2 hours and 45 minutes. But I, the entire time, felt very safe because I had my orange whistle on me, and I sat in one spot on the trail and blew my whistle. I was about to swear. I blew my whistle a lot. And I did not get bored. I built a fort while I was out there. There were a bunch of dead branches, and they were all in the same kind of area, so I could like stay on my rock to make sure I wasn't moving around. And then I'd like hike a branch up, and I blow my whistle, and I like hike another branch up, and I blow my whistle again, just to like make sure that I'm not missing anyone if they were listening for me. And eventually it gets to the point where I'm like, I'm a little bit hungry. So I walk back down the trail to try and see if I can find the camp trail from the meadow. But while I'm walking back down the trail, I'm still consistently blowing my excellent safety orange whistle that came in handy. And while I was blowing it, I hear in the distance 3 whistle blows, and that was so cool because I was like, wait a second, I'm pretty sure that was a thing that we were supposed to do. So I blow 3 times back, and then they pause. They blow 3 times back at me, and then we're running at each other and we're yelling at each other, and we have finally found each other again. We're actually very, very close to camp. I was not expecting to cry, but I did, but it wasn't like an upset cry. It was like I was suddenly being tackle hugged by 4 of my campers, and I got very emotional, cried. I had somebody like stuff oranges into my face, just to make sure that I was fully vitamined up, and I had learned that while I was gone, they had first of all, they had gone out looking for me, and they had also taken the time to make sure that everybody was feeling okay. They had done like kind of like a group therapy session, and they had really talked out a lot about how they were feeling and a lot about like how they felt before they got here and their emotions and some of the things that they had been worried about on the trail, just because everybody was in the same boat of being nervous at that time that I was in danger, and I was like singing show tunes in a fort the entire time, but they were really working stuff out. And I like walked around camp a little bit, and it felt a little bit weird, but I could see like maps that they had laid out on the ground where like students had drawn circles to figure out like how far they had checked from camp and where they had to look, and marking down the trails. And they were all, I was so worried that people were going to be mad at me, but they really weren't. They were really, really nice and caring, and they like cult love bombed me, but in a fun way, where I really felt like the entire time that I was perfectly safe. And I was. And then they teased me about it for the rest of the trip, but it was fun, and it was fine because they were worried about me, and they gave me a bunch of compliments, and I felt very special. So overall, I think they ended up being more worried than I was. And I think that like hearing the steps that they had taken and having the counselors like make sure that I was okay and talk me through everything, and learning about how much people connected during that time in between like checking the map and going out into the woods and yelling for me. They had really, really grown closer in that stress, and I thought it was very nice.